My name is Orma. I am the queen, the ruler, the power, with loyal subjects in my magnificent kingdom.
Once upon a time there lived a girl named Orma. She was beautiful and the pride of her father. Orma had lost her mother at a young age. Her father, Mr. Johnson, loved her dearly. When her mother passed away, he swore never to marry another woman, choosing instead to devote his life to raising Orma, his only child. When Orma grew into a young woman, her father never joked with her. He would do anything to protect his daughter. But there was something he did not know, something even Orma herself was unaware of. Though they were poor in the physical world, Orma was far from ordinary. In the spiritual realm, she was rich, richer than any earthly treasure. She was a queen, a ruler in a powerful kingdom, beyond the eyes of mortals. Orma lived her life, unaware of this hidden truth. But everything changed when she turned 18. That was the day her true identity began to awaken. Every night, as soon as Orma closed her eyes, she found herself in a strange yet breathtaking land, a magnificent marine kingdom, unlike anything she had ever seen, and the air was filled with a sense of mystery and magic. To her surprise, each time she arrived, she would transform into a queen. She stood tall and radiant in a beautiful and luxurious palace, her presence commanding and graceful. She sat on a throne made of pure gold, surrounded by loyal servants who bowed in reverence and awaited her command. It all felt so real, so vivid, yet each morning she would awaken in her small, modest room, unsure if it was all just a dream or something far greater than she could yet understand. "What kind of dream is this?" Orma would whisper to herself, her face clouded with confusion. The next night, as she drifted into sleep, she once again found herself in the same mysterious kingdom, where she ruled as queen. This time, however, she was led to her royal chamber. The luxury and beauty of the room left her speechless. It was beyond anything she had ever imagined. Golden chandeliers lit up the room like stars, and the floor sparkled like polished crystal. When she woke up the next morning, a soft smile curved her lips. Her heart was filled with thoughts of the dream, the golden throne, the palace, the servants, the magnificent marine kingdom, and now her breathtaking royal room. It was a life of wonder, far removed from her modest reality. "Wow," she murmured to herself, her eyes gleaming. "I think I am beginning to love what I always see in my dreams, but why am I poor in reality? I wish I could bring that wealth into the real world so my father could enjoy it with me." This continued for weeks, and her father remained unaware until Orma's behavior began to change. The once respectful and obedient girl started acting distant and cold. She spoke with irritation, ignored her father's words, and seemed to care less about their daily life. Mr. Johnson noticed the shift, but did not understand the cause. "Orma, my daughter," he said one morning, grabbing his walking stick. "I am going for a village meeting. Make sure you cook food before I come back." He left the house with trust in her, never suspecting that she would ignore his request. Instead of heading to the kitchen, she went straight to her room, laid on her bed, and drifted into sleep. As always, she found herself in the magnificent marine kingdom, draped in royal garments, surrounded by shimmering waters, and served by loyal subjects. She had fallen completely in love with the life she lived there. It was beautiful, luxurious, and empowering. More and more she longed for that dream world, and sleep became her escape. Hours passed. When Mr. Johnson, her father, returned, tired and hungry, the aroma of food was nowhere to be found. Concerned, he called out, "Orma!" But there was no reply. He rushed to her room, hunger gnawing at him, only to find her lying in bed, fast asleep. "Oh my God, not again," Mr. Johnson muttered, rushing to her side. Gently, he shook her. "Orma, wake up, wake up!" She stirred, turning over slowly. Her eyes opened, and the moment she saw her father, her face twisted in irritation. "Father, why did you interrupt my beautiful sleep?" she snapped. "My daughter," he said softly, "I am hungry. Why didn't you cook the food I asked for? What are we going to eat now?" She stood up, her voice rising in anger. "But father, you didn't have to wake me up." Mr. Johnson remained calm, though clearly hurt. "I asked you to cook before I left. Why didn't you do it?" She stared at him, her tone cold and unfamiliar. "Listen, father. It is not my duty to cook for you. I am bigger than that. From today on, you will cook and serve me. Because I am special." With that, she turned and walked out, leaving her father rooted in place, surprise, and his heart heavy with shock and sorrow. The next morning she woke up and, to her surprise, found her father in the kitchen, cooking. She stood at the doorway, staring in disbelief. "Father, why are you cooking?" she asked softly. "I thought you would never agree to do that." Her father turned to her, a gentle smile on his face. "My daughter, the love I have for you is beyond what you can imagine. After your mother died, I could have remarried, but I did not. The love I had for her is the same love I have for you. I chose to remain a widower, just to care for my daughter. So tell me, what is it that I cannot do for you?" She stood there, overwhelmed. Tears welled up in her eyes, and her voice trembled as she stepped forward. "Father, I can see now that your love for me is beyond words. There is something I need to tell you." "To tell me?" he asked gently. "Yes," she nodded. They both walked outside and sat together on the wooden bench under the old tree by their house. She took a deep breath, then spoke from her heart. "Father, I am a queen. I rule in a beautiful and magnificent kingdom. I have a throne made of real gold. I have wealth, power, servants. I am rich. But, Father, it pains me that I cannot bring any of it into this world to help you, to change our story." Her voice broke as tears streamed down her face. Her father looked at her, confused and afraid. Orma stood up and walked away. He sat in silence, his heart heavy with confusion. The words Orma had just spoken echoed in his mind, but before he could respond, something strange happened. Suddenly, a soft breeze swept through the air, and a glowing figure began to appear before him. His eyes widened in shock. It was his late wife, Orma's mother. Fear gripped him. "Susan," he whispered, his voice trembling. "Don't be afraid," she said gently, her voice like the wind, calm and sorrowful. "I have something to tell you, and I am sorry for the confession I'm about to make." Mr. Johnson sat frozen, his breath caught in his throat. "When we got married," she continued, "we waited for many years with no child. In my desperation, I went to a river. I begged for a child. I made a sacrifice to the spirits of the water." She paused, pain flickering in her eyes. "Orma is the child the river gave us. She belongs to them. That is why she rules in their kingdom. But now they want her back fully. They are drawing her spirit closer every time she sleeps." "No," Johnson whispered, shaking his head. "There is only one way to save her. If you do not do it, she will die in her sleep 7 days from now." She looked at him one last time, eyes full of sorrow and love. "Now listen carefully," she continued. "You must make her lick her own blood. That is the only way to save her from dying in 7 days." Then, just like that, she disappeared into the shadows. Johnson, surprised and afraid, his eyes wide with disbelief, his heart pounding in terror. The next morning, Johnson sat on the edge of his bed, his heart heavy with the burden of what he had to do. How could he convince Orma to do such a strange thing? Would she believe him? Would she agree? If she refused, he knew he would lose her forever. Later that day, he called to her gently, masking his fear with a warm smile. "Orma, my beautiful daughter, come, I have a secret to share with you." Her eyes lit up with curiosity as she approached. "What is it, father?" she asked. "Tell me," he said, still smiling. Do you want your dream to become reality? Do you want to live as a queen on a golden throne, not just in your sleep, but here, in the real world? Yes, father, she replied eagerly. What should I do? I want my beautiful mansion, my throne, and all my riches to come to reality, not only when I sleep, she said eagerly. Then, he said calmly, take a knife or anything sharp. Cut yourself just a little and taste your own blood. Once you do that, everything you have seen in your dreams will appear here and now. Without hesitation, she ran inside. Moments later, she returned with a small knife. She made a shallow cut on her hand and tasted her blood. But instead of riches appearing, she suddenly fell to the ground. A strange heaviness lifted from her chest, like chains being broken. When she stood up, she looked around in confusion. Nothing had changed. There was no golden throne, no palace, no servants, just the small house she had always known. Her father gently helped her to a bench and held her hand. My daughter, he said softly, you are now disconnected from the Marine Kingdom. They can never manipulate in your dreams again, even in reality. That golden throne and the riches, it was all a mirage, a trap they used to draw your soul, to take your life. But now, you are free. Her eyes filled with tears as the truth settled into her heart. She looked at her father, overwhelmed with emotion. Thank you, Father, for saving my life. I am so sorry for the way I talked to you in the past, Orma said, her voice trembling with guilt and regret. Her father looked at her with gentle eyes, placing a hand on her shoulder. It's okay, my child. I knew something had come over you, but thank God for everything. They sat in silence for a moment, the air filled with peace. The weight that had once clouded their home was gone. Orma leaned her head on her father's shoulder, feeling a kind of peace she hadn't known in a long time. That night, for the first time in weeks, she slept without being drawn into the Marine Kingdom. There were no golden throne, no palace, only calm, dreamless rest. And when she woke up the next morning, she felt truly alive and free.